Hey everybody, welcome to Lessons with Troy. I'm Troy Brenningmeyer. Well, this is going to be my first lesson for Bottleneck slide guitar, just regular slide guitar. As you can see here, I have my Gibson SG that I got primarily to play and teach the style of Bottleneck slide. I'm even wearing my Dwayne Allman t-shirt that I got where it shows him playing an SG as well. So, he's one of my influences. Derek Trucks, Ry Cooder, Blake Mills, Bonnie Raitt. I love that style of playing. And we're just going to learn the basics in this series and see where it goes. So I'm just kind of taking you on the journey that I'm going down. And in this lesson, we're just going to talk a lot about just getting you going with Bottleneck slide, choosing the right slide, the right guitar, how I got my action set up on this, and all that. So let's go ahead and jump on into this lesson, Volume 1 of Bottleneck slide guitar. Okay, so let's first talk about the tuning and what each note is. So like I said, it's just like open D, but say if you were to be in open D and you capoed on your second fret, that's what open E is. So your thickest string, that string is an E. E is an elephant. And then B is in boy for string 5. And then another E for string 4. And then we got G sharp for string 3. And then another B is in boy. And then an E. So if we think about an E major chord, right? E, G sharp, B are the notes in an E major triad. Then we've got the root note on our 6th string, on the 4th string, and our 1st string. So all those are E notes. E, E, E. And then strings 5 and 2 are going to be the B notes. That's the 5th of our chord. And then the major third of our chord is this 3rd string. Okay. So let's talk about choosing a guitar and kind of the setup and everything. First off, as far as the strings that I'm using, I am using heavier gauge strings. I'm using 11s for this. And let me show you here. Here's what it looks like. And I like this SG because it has what's called a tune-o-matic bridge on it right here. As you can see these little knobs here? Well, I can raise and lower the height of this bridge by twisting these knobs. I kind of loosen the strings up a little bit and then raise or lower. So I have this thing kind of cranked where the strings are pretty high. I don't know if you can see that or not. But anyways, it's pretty high. So the thing that you might run into if you're just trying to take your regular guitar and play slide on it is you'll start, pushing down on the strings, and your slide will be hitting the frets and kind of doing that thing where they're kind of hitting the frets. So it actually is pretty good if you have just an old beater guitar that has really bad action. That really bad action makes for the strings being higher off the fingerboard, makes it a little bit easier to play slide on. So you might want to try that if you just have an old guitar laying around with horrible action. Just put it in open E tuning and see what it sounds like. I do like open E versus open D because the strings are a little bit tighter in open E. Open D, I love that lower tuning, but sometimes unless you have really thick gauge strings, the string the tension of those strings can be a little loose, Okay, so we talked a little bit about the action and the tuning. Let's jump on into slides. As you can tell, I'm wearing my slide on my ring finger, but see what feels comfortable for you. I know Dwayne Allman, I believe, and Derek Trucks wore it on their ring finger. Bonnie Raitt, I believe she wears it on her middle finger. Then you have people like Sonny Landreth and Ariel Posen that wear it on their pinky finger, and then they can do lots of stuff behind the bar with their other 3 fingers. But what I'm going to be doing for right now is keeping it on my ring finger. And this is my favorite slide that I've tried. I'm going to show you in just a second some of my other slides that I got. I got them all from the same store, a store near me. And this one is a real thick, as you can see that. It's got that kind of thick glass to it. And it has that little beveled edge on the top. And then here, let's see if you can see that. Here it has that cutout for that little bend of your finger. So that part's kind of cut out of it. Actually, a lot of these slides end up having that. But why I like this one so much is it has an open top versus like Derek Trucks and Dwayne Allman that they use that Coracine bottle with the closed top to it. I like having that open top, and it fits my ring finger really good. So as you can see that, it's not a tight fit, but it fits it just real nice to where it doesn't feel like it's too loose or too tight. And I believe I got the extra large. And all these slides I'm getting ready to show you, I think they're from the same company, the Rock slide. That was the slides that this music store had. Okay, so let me show you some of these other slides that I tried out. Like I said about that Coracine bottle, this is called the Blues bottle. And it looks like this. And this is a much thinner glass slide. I personally don't like this one as much. I felt like I can't get as good a tone as I can out of the thicker glass, and I don't like that it has the closed top to it. But you guys might love this one. And there's lots of other slides too. These are just 4 of the ones that I got. Here's a metal slide, which is nice. If you drop it, you're not going to break it like all the glass slides. And this one also has that bottom part cut out there, and it also has this part here on the side. I guess that's where your other finger is supposed to go or something. This one's not bad. Let me play a little bit with these. So there's the metal one. It's pretty heavy. I don't like this one as much as the glass just because it feels, well, it is. It's much more heavy than the glass. Here's what the glass one that I like sounds like. Okay, one more slide, and we'll move on from this. This one I thought I would like a lot. I think this is kind of like Ariel Poson's slide. It says Brothers Landreth on it. If you haven't checked out that group, that's awesome. Ariel Poson's an amazing guitar player, and he plays a lot of slide. He'll put it on his pinky finger and then do a lot of stuff, with the fingers behind the slide. But this particular one, it's kind of cool. Once again, it has the cutout on the bottom. This one has a rounded closed top, and this particular one fits my pinky really well. It doesn't fit the ring finger so much. It's kind of too tight for my ring finger. But I might be using this one down the road if I want to do stuff behind the bar, That's a whole technique I have not got yet. But see, when I play with my pinky, for some reason, my ring finger wants to come up over my pinky. It just feels natural that way, kind of supports it a little bit. And I see other guys that play, and they're a lot more free with their pinky. So that's something I definitely need to work on. So anyways, those are some different slides that you could check out. Like I said, I think that company, the Rock slide. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on and talk a little bit about some left hand and right hand technique. Okay, so I'm going to kind of teach you techniques too, the slide techniques that I've learned since playing dobro and lap steel and all these other slide instruments. And the one thing that I'm trying to keep in mind is to keep straight with the fret. Sometimes I might want to do, play and my hand kind of turn more like this, but I am going to try to keep it straight with the fret as much as I can, because I might want to lay my bar down and play a chord or a double stop. And if your slide is angled like that, you're not going to be in tune. So you gotta be directly over the fret. That's kind of the trick to playing slide. And this is actually a little easier than dobro and lap steel, because it definitely, you can, as I'm looking down this way, at my slide, I can definitely see when I'm right over the fret. It's a lot different than playing it on your lap, where you got a kind of a much different angle of view. So keep the bar real straight with the fret. You got to be directly over the fret to play in tune. I do use these fingers behind my bar to mute out the noise behind the bar, and also to add some support. But you could, I have seen, people that I love, slide players, hold their fingers out like that. Me, as far as the technique, I'm gonna try to keep it real clean with behind the bar. I got my thumb back here in the middle of the neck of your instrument. Slide straight with the fret. So let me show you just a little bit what I'm playing, just so you can get your hands playing something. Obviously, you've got a whole chord, right? Because an open E tuning is just a chord, right? It's a great chord. But I tell you, a grab that's kind of a good technique, and also getting into some right hand technique, is grabbing your 4th, 3rd, and 2nd string. Right? And what we're going to do is, notice how I don't have picks. I've tried to play with finger picks, slide, and I just like the sound of just the natural fleshy part of my finger. And it allows me to really get in there and mute stuff out. So this is a good little muting exercise, just grabbing strings 4, 3, and 2, plucking them, making sure your thumb is in front of your index, and you pluck it, and then just lay your hand down. Now notice, if I open my hand up, here's the bridge. The heel of my hand is kind of just a little in front of the bridge, maybe on the bridge. And a lot of my hand is touching the string. So I'm not going to use anything with my slide right now. And I'm just going to grab those and mute them. And notice how my thumb is flat up against my strings like that, just kind of muting out those lower strings. You can bring your ring finger in the mix there and get anything above your middle finger. Or you can grab, use, since you're not playing with picks, you can use 3 fingers to grab strings too. So use thumb, index, middle, and ring if you wanted to. It's kind of hearkening back to my finger style technique days, where you played, with 3 fingers and a thumb. But really, the trick is just to use all parts of your hand to mute out as much as you can. Say you want to play just one note. Say I wanted to play on my 12th fret, 3rd string, right? See how I play that with my index, but my middle and my ring finger are touching the upper strings. My thumb is kind of laid flat, ready to play my 4th string maybe. So the muting is something we'll really talk a lot about. I do notice a difference as far as sustain goes. If I let off these 2 fingers here, my index and middle on my left hand, hear that sustain? Now hear this. It's about the same, actually. I thought that is a little bit more. You do get a little bit different tone if you let these fingers off, because you're going to get some actual note string sound behind your slide, because you get that sound behind your slide. Basically, what the slide is doing is it's replacing what the fret does. You know, when you fret a string, that middle part touches the string and it makes the string shorter, changes the pitch, and that's how you get the sound of your note. Well, the same thing happens with this slide. It touches that, and then that's kind of like your fret. So that's why you got to have that slide right over the fret. So anyways, the biggest thing is, like I said, trying to, whatever string you're going to play, try to get used to muting out all the strings kind of around that string. A good little lick for this is just a simple. This is a little pick block, or they call it pick block, but I'm not wearing any picks, but just some muting technique. I'm going to slide on my third string, right? Slide into that 12th fret. And then when I play the second string, my thumb is going to come down to mute out. Exactly when I pick my second string, the thumb mutes out my third string. Now right there, I'm doing middle finger on my second string, and I'm sliding from 12 down to 10, and then you could either use your index on the third string, but when you pluck that third string, I come down with that middle finger to mute out my second string. Same thing if I pluck my index on my fourth string, these two fingers come down to mute out my higher strings. However you want to make that happen, that the trick is to pluck a string, and if you don't want a string ringing out, just touch it with your other fingers. You can use your ear to, there's no hard and fast rules to any of this, but if you hear something ringing out and you don't want it, like say you didn't want all this, see how everything's ringing out there? You might like that. That actually does sound pretty cool. Right, that whole chord's ringing out. Say I wanted to do it more individual notes. So anyways, here's some other exercises that I always tell people, like for lap steel and anything really when you're playing slide. Let's say 3 fingers, right? We're going to grab strings 6, 5, and 4. And then we're going to move down to 5, 4, and 3. And then 4, 3, and 2. 3, 2, and 1. And you can go down the strings like that. The trick is to not do that. Where your hands off the strings and you're just kind of plucking them, is to pluck. Maybe start off doing that first: pluck, mute, pluck, mute, pluck, mute, pluck. And that's just 6, 5, and 4. 5, 4, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 2, 1. So all kinds of different exercises there. I was plucking them individually, arpeggiating them, they call it. Let's say, and going down in pitch. 3, 3, 2, 1. Mute. See, I just kind of grab all the strings, mute them out. 4, 3, 2. 5, 4, 3. 6, 5, 4. Now the trick to this is you should be able to do this without looking, right? I'm kind of looking at the monitor right now, you know, but as you can tell, this side of my thumb kind of guides me. I can feel there's string 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. There's 3, 2, and 1. See, I always have thumb, index, middle kind of guiding me. Thumb's in front of my index. The heel of my hand's down is kind of by my bridge. And those are just really great exercises, just grabbing 3 strings at a time, either moving up in pitch or down in pitch. But really grabbing them, muting them out, getting used to muting them out, not like this. You know, not like a classical player, but you really keep your hand kind of flat with the strings, thumb flat with the strings, so you can mute out everything. Let me show you just some positions here before we wrap up the video. Okay, so when you're playing blues and a lot of stuff, honestly, you have what's called a 1-4-5 chord progression. Those are just like when you're in a particular key. A lot of times, those are your 3 major chords, 3 really common chords. Well, when you're playing slide instruments, open and 12th fret. And actually way up here on 24, but we'll just say open and 12. That's going to be what's called our 1 chord in the key of E. Remember, an open E tuning. So those are both going to be E major chords. Well, your other 2 major chords in E is an A chord and a B chord. And you get those on your 5th fret. And B, so there's A on 5th fret. And here's B on 7th fret. So now you're off and running with just at least 3 chords in the key of E, right? E on 12 or open, A on 5th fret, and B. So try using that. Notice how I'm just using my thumb to strum those. Right? And that's a good practice right there, because if you're not straight with the fret, you're going to get that sound, right? You got to be real straight with the fret to be in tune and right over the fret. 12. Now, what I like to do too is just to grab a portion of that. And once again, I'm going to harken back to that 4, 3, and 2 strings. And just practice grabbing those 4, 3, and 2. You can either play them individually and then move to 5th fret and think that's A. Right over that, get right over the fret. No, none of that. You know, you got to be right straight with that fret. Fret 7 for our B chord. Now, if you want to do something, even break it down even more, just grab your 3rd and 2nd string, and you can work on what's called a double stop, meaning just 2 notes. And you can slide into that 12th fret, or E chord. I'll be using this E, A, and B chords a lot, right? So just slide into that 12th fret with our 3rd and 2nd string played with index and middle finger on the right hand. Then you go to the A chord, do the same thing. Strings 3 and 2. Go to our B chords, fret 7. Back to E. Now, a little simple blues lick in that same kind of pattern, right? Strings 2, 3, and 4, right? And I always teach, dobro and lap steel and things like that as seeing shapes, right? Well, I like to think of this little pattern here as an X shape, right? It's a pentatonic scale, basically, minor pentatonic. and it's notes out of that scale at least. On your second string, you're going to go 12 to 10. And then on your third string, you're going to go 10th fret. 11th fret. 11th fret on your third string. And then fourth string is 12. And if you put that with your slide, it sounds like this. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to, instead of hitting that 11th fret, I'm going to kind of take the 10th fret on my third string. And then I'm going to slide into that 12th, basically sliding into 11 or so, basically 10 to 12. It's kind of an ambiguous thing with slide, you know, it just kind of use your ear and think 10 to 12, and you're kind of ending a little bit before 12. But you're going on your second string, 12 to 10. Still keeping this slide real straight with the fret. Right over the fret, right? 10 to 12 or 12 to 10 on your second string. Okay, and then what I like to do is to mute that out with my middle finger, and then take that index and slide that up to 12, 10 to 12, and then hit 12th fret, 4th string. And just get kind of used to that sound. Now technique-wise, middle finger. Notice how I don't move my other fingers. I just pluck that middle finger. Now when I pluck my index finger on my third string, see how my thumb doesn't move, and then my middle goes to mute out the second string. Then my thumb hits that 4th string. That's if you wanted everything to be muted. Now you can have everything ring out, sounds bluesy, a little loose and bluesy and cool, and you just don't mute. Whatever fingers you want to use. See how it makes a chord then versus individual notes. Now you can do that same exact lick on your 5th fret, but now you're going to be doing second string 5 to 3, third string 3 to 5, and then 4th string 5th fret. Same thing, that'd be over your A chord, right? Same thing on your B chord on that 7th fret, 7 to 5, third string 5 to 7, and then 4th string 7. So those are just some basic things that kind of get you going, you know, playing the right strings and getting your right hand in good position where you can really do lots of muting. Okay, so that kind of gets us going with a little bit of technique, right? And now, as I said before, there's some players I want to introduce you to. Obviously, you know, from my shirt, Dwayne Allman is somebody to check out with the Allman Brothers. Check out Statesboro Blues if you've never heard that. I'm sure if you like slide, you probably heard Statesboro Blues, but that's one of my all-time favorite slide songs, you know. And all the stuff that he did with the Allman Brothers. Unfortunately, Dwayne Allman, passed really young, but definitely influenced a lot of slide players. Another one I really like is Ry Cooder, R-Y and then C-O-O-D-E-R. Great slide player. He plays, you know, not an SG, but definitely a different style than Dwayne Allman. And somebody else, Derek Trucks. He plays plays with the Allman Brothers now. I don't know if he's still playing with them, but he has his own, he plays with his wife, Susan Tedeschi, and it's the Tedeschi Trucks Band. But he's another one to check out. Going old school, like Elmore James, definitely influenced, like Eric Clapton, lots of people. Check out his stuff. Some of the newer players, Blake Mills as a young guy, Blake Mills out of California. And he's kind of influenced by Ry Cooder, but definitely has his own style of playing too. Sonny Landreth, he's another guy to check out. Totally unique style and amazing. All these players are amazing, and Sonny Landreth has an amazing tone. Another guy, more modern guy, Ariel, Ariel Posen, is another guy to check out. Bonnie Raitt, female slide player. Like I said, I believe she puts her slide on her middle finger. But man, she's so good. All these players, there's so many I'm leaving out, I know, but I'm trying to think of some more. But anyways, you can Google it, but that'll at least get you going down the road if you're totally new to Bottleneck slide. Well, take some of those exercises that I talked about and work with them, and we will see you on the next lesson. And have a good one. See you on the next lesson.